single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Radia, for those of you who don't know, and on my channel I like to talk about lifestyle, so things like interior design, fitness, and then I also like to do like chit chat and talk about different topics. And today I want to talk about mental health. So I'm going to be very honest from the off. I find it difficult to talk about mental health. Not for me personally, but more because it's just a very difficult topic. I know that it's widely misunderstood, especially if somebody hasn't actually had a mental health problem. It can be seen as like what you want about, because it's not as obvious as a broken leg or a cut. So I just wanted to talk about my experience with dealing with mental health as a nurse and personally, and hoping that I can help at least one person today. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I'll get straight into it. So, as we all know, there are several different mental health conditions such as bipolar, psychosis, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety. There's a wide range, there's even more. And like I said before, it's misunderstood. And I feel really sorry for the people out there that don't feel like they can come forward and talk about how they're feeling because they're worried about being bullied, worried about being misunderstood, or worrying about not getting the support. I've actually had male people say to me that it's not something that you would expect a man to have, for example, depression, so they haven't wanted to speak to the GP about it. And so I just wanted to come and give my experience with mental health. I don't mind talking about it because it's life, it's real, and it happened. So I'm happy to talk about it, and hopefully, like I said, I can help somebody else. So I started to feel depressed a few years ago. At the time, I knew it was what they would call depression, but I just kind of wanted to ignore it, try to put it down to just not feeling myself. But when you're feeling so low for such a long period of time, it's something that shouldn't be ignored. So what I did, I didn't want to be medicated. So I went and saw a counsellor through work because I found that I was just crying out of the blue, and I didn't trust that I wouldn't cry in a place like a supermarket or whilst at work. So I just wanted to, I wanted to understand what was going on with me, because I knew it wasn't normal to just be crying, feeling antisocial. So I might be invited somewhere and then I'll say yes, and then I'll change my mind at the last minute, and then I look like I'm unreliable when I'm not, and I just couldn't explain how I felt. And it wasn't just depression that I had. I also had PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, and anxiety. I still suffer with anxiety quite a lot at the moment. So, but I feel like I've got a hold of it. So before, I'll give you an example. If a doorbell went and I wasn't expecting anybody at the house, I would go into a panic. So my heart would race. I'd have palpitations. So you could literally see my heart beating through my clothes, short of breath, running to the window to see who it was, or just like ignoring the door. And now that didn't last for a long time because I kind of got a hold of it. Now, if the doorbell goes and I'm not expecting anyone, my heart will still race, but I think, I don't just feel, I think. So I'm like, so Radia, the doorbell has just gone. I literally have to talk to myself, not out loud, but in my head. Yes, the doorbell has just gone. No, you're not expecting anybody, but what bad could it be? Has anything terribly bad happened before when the door knocked? Like recently, because in the past, yes. Now, recently, has anything bad happened? No. Nothing bad's happened. And until you know who's at the door, there's no point in worrying about who's at the door. Just get the door. So I kind of I do a bit of talking to myself, and it's not as long as that. It's like probably a second worth of like just trying to get my head straight, and then I feel better. So I feel like I'm managing it a lot more. Anxiety does not stop me from doing anything. I feel it and I do what I've got to do anyway. So whereas before I might feel anxious and then, like I said, not get the door. So anxiety, although it's something that I recognise I have, I don't like to say suffer with, I have, but it's not affecting my life to the point where it's stopping me doing anything. So I'll put that to the side. Okay, it's gone. Depression now. I spoke to a counsellor, and the counsellor helped me realise that the things that I have been through, and I'm very aware that there are people out there that have been through a lot worse than I have. But some of the things that I'd been through, she helped me realise that they were that bad. So no, I wasn't being grumpy or negative. They were that bad. This is why you feel how you feel, and this is how you can get better. So I was glad that I went and saw the counsellor. Nice lady. So now I'm at a point where I do not believe, I am not depressed. But like a lot of people, I have my down days. You know, days where you just can't be bothered. And if I have a down day now, I just try to think positive. Sometimes it's hard to think positive when you're feeling so negative. But before, I believe, like with the anxiety, I would feel really low, and then I would wallow in it. Is that a word? Wallow in. Okay, I think it's a word. I'll look it up. But yeah, I'd feel really low, and then I would feel that lowness and stay in it. Whereas now, if I feel low, like I said in my last video, I jump up. No, not my last video. The one where I was talking about the law of attraction. Now I would jump up. No matter how I feel, I have to jump up. And when I jump up, and it's almost like I understand that there's that negativity there. So like that lowness, like go back in the bed, or don't. So if the plan was to go to IKEA, for example, don't go to IKEA. But I feel the lowness, but I do what I have to do anyway, and that helps me get out of it. So that's what I do now. I've been as low as so I was in London with my friend. We went shopping for the day, and I was at the train station in London. I think we was catching a train to go somewhere else within London. And I remember thinking, if you just jump on the train tracks now, everything will be over. You will have no pain and everything will be better. Now, although I had the thought, which was very scary, I might add, I knew I wasn't going to jump. But the fact that I had the thought, it was just so scary. I knew I wasn't going to jump because I cared more about my son than I did me. So I was like, okay, well, but then could you imagine someone having to tell your son that? So that's what stopped me. And I felt initially embarrassed and disgusted with myself to have had such a thought. But then I just, you just got to keep it real. I had the thought. I didn't say this is what I'm going to think about now. It just popped into my head at the train station. And it popped into my head because I was in a very, very low place. I had low self-worth. I had no self-worth at the time. And I didn't understand how to deal with things like this because as far as I'm concerned, I'd never been depressed before. I never had an opinion on depression before. It just wasn't something that affected my life until it affected my life. I wish that I could help every single person in the world with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, self-harm thoughts, any kind of mental health illness. But unfortunately, I can't. But it's just so sad that I've had people say to me, they don't feel like they can go and get support with how they're feeling because they're worried about what other people might say, or they're worried about not looking very masculine because they're male. And I just think it's so sad. And depression, and not even depression alone, mental health issues are so widely misunderstood that a lot of people out there that need support are not getting that support. And I know it really does bother me. But there is support out there. A lot of people that aren't speaking to somebody because they're feeling embarrassed or feeling like they might get laughed at. Those people who have not spoken to anybody about how they're feeling, I would urge you, speak to somebody about how you are feeling, as difficult as it is, because you need help. And there's apps out there. There's an app called Hub of Hope, and there's other apps out there that can help with mental health problems, anxiety, depression. So utilize those apps. And yeah, just know that although you feel like you're alone, you're not alone. Last year, was it last year? I don't know, but it was around winter time, maybe a couple of years ago, and I felt really lonely. Now imagine, you got brothers, you got sisters, you got friends, you got family, but you feel alone, like actually nobody cares, like no one cares about you. Obviously, I can't say obviously that's not the case, because I'm sure for some people that is the case. They don't have a good support system. I still believe that a lot of the people around me don't care. But I know that that's not me coming from a self-pity point of view. That's a fact. I have a handful of people that I believe genuinely care about me. But at the time where I was feeling really low, I believe that nobody cared. And so I'm just very sure that that can be a lot of people's case. They don't see the point in living because they're like, well, nobody cares about me and things are so tough, I might as well go about my business. But no, there are people out there, even if it's not people you know. I care. If you need to drop me a DM, drop me a DM. But I'm just saying, like, even if it's a mental health professional or a doctor, a GP, a nurse, if anybody, it's not only people that you know that will care. Sometimes you have to go outside of your circle to a GP surgery or online to find somebody who you don't know, who will care and put you in the right direction. Everything has a season and everything has an ending. So just know that however you feel now, it is not your full story and you can get out of it. And just know that there is always somebody to speak to, somebody who does care. So I hope that this video was useful. It was on my mind to do a video about mental health, but I just found it, I wasn't sure how I was going to go about it. I'm not even sure if this is a brilliant video, but I just felt like I had a duty to talk about it, and now I have. Thank you for sticking with me, and have a blessed and wonderful day. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified whenever I do another video. Thank you and take care.